once a couple things go right, usually things start to go downhill again.
I'm Johnny Garage Johnson, and this is Hardcore Garage.
I don't know what happened. I was trying to record simple radiator removal. First I wasn't going to, and then I thought, I don't think I've done this before on cam, so we may as well show how to do it, but this isn't good. Hear that noise? Let's start from the top. If you are going to take your radiator out, there is going to be 1, 2, 3 10mm bolts. They're going to have one straight down, another one straight down, another one straight down, and one that breaks right there. Or yours might break over here, or even over there, or over there. There's also 2 that come up from the bottom. Right here, it's not actually going to be in the bottom. It comes up from this way. You'll be able to still use an impact this way. But the one over there, right here, because of your steering mechanism, you'll have to use a ratchet wrench or a regular wrench on that one. And that'll break this completely loose. And you can't take that out without getting your fan out, I don't think, anyway. But anyway, hear that draining? Ooh, it's finally not looking like death. Look at this, though. Look how that's that new rust cool people put in their rides. Hey, there's one of my clips. It didn't break, it just fell off. Luckily, I had this other radiator out there. I imagine this is probably for vehicles that have transmission coolers, because the radiator that is in this truck does not have either of those 2, but it has these 2. And that one, everything else looks the same. It has that hump out right there. It's on that side down there. You can't see it, but she's almost done draining. So we're just going to have a flat blade, or that might be a 5/16 if you can't get your flat blade on there. Same with the one down there on the lower radiator hose. Little pinch clamp right there. Flat blade right there. All your hoses are off. The radiator will come out. I don't think it was rusty. Not even a little bit.
I didn't think to even put in here. I had put that radiator in, the first one that we were talking about that came from the junk pile back there, and it leaked. So I was a little frustrated, and I honestly, I can't even find the footage of that. I don't know if it just didn't record because it knew it wasn't going to be or what, but it is not anywhere in my phone. And anyway, that whole deal, put the radiator in, it leaked on my floor, had to drain it out, wasted 2 gallons of antifreeze, blah, blah, blah. Ordered a new radiator from Rock Auto. That's where we're at.
We'll take a little break to see what's in the box, but if you're paying attention, there shouldn't be any sort of mystery about what's in this box. Let's just see if we got, oh, it's a box in a box. I always love that, don't you? Oh yeah, brand new radiator here, guys. This was the cheapie. I think it was about 80 bucks. Maybe a little bit more than that, but it was not the expensive one. I don't have a price on there like always. Boy, she's light. Very light. right, I guess this is how she goes, people. Hopefully it doesn't leak out the transmission lines there. My other one didn't have those, and I didn't figure this one would have them being the cheapest. I think they just make one radiator to try to fit everything. Dropped it right down in there. It's going to be the best looking thing on this truck. We slid the lower radiator hose on, and then we'll tighten that clamp first. And then we're going to remove this clamp here that goes to the heater core hose. We will stick the upper hose for the heater core on here. And tighten that clamp. Other heater hose line back on right here. And tighten that clamp. Alright, so let's go ahead and get a new thermostat and gasket on there. We're going to need to clean this mounting surface up pretty good with a razor blade or some Scotch-Brite. Alright, somewhere along the line I lost the bolts to the water neck, or whatever you guys call this, thermostat housing. So I've got me some stainless steel bolts here. There's the nut that was on the stud that held these on this side, which I'm not going to be able to replace because I don't have a stud. I'm assuming I laid it up there where that is, and then I hopped this thing because I can see two little rusty spots there where the bolts were probably laying. The thing was a little farther forward, and I've looked all over down in there and can't find nothing. New thermostat's in. These new gaskets, the way they have that sticky on one side is just awesome. Get that back on there. This guy's going to sit on right like that. We'll put our new screws in there and hopefully be all right. Okay, we have the thermostat housing on, and make sure that you torque these with your hand. You know, I'm not sure what pressure, just make sure they're even. We are all back together. Broke a couple clips. Actually, the plastic broke off. Got this overflow back on. We are filling her up now. I've got 1 full gallon in. Got a brand new radiator cap also. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. Maybe pour a little bit more in there before I start it, but we're ready to see this thing run. Another thing that I didn't talk about was flushing the heating cooling system, which I did do, and I didn't show on video for whatever reason. But I did do that. So let me flip the camera around and show you which hoses that I took off and kind of give a brief description of what I remember doing. I'm not a professional mechanic. The noise you're hearing, by the way, is the hydraulics charging. So just pretend it's a cool noise. This is one of the first things I took off was the heater hose that comes from the engine. Removed that right there, pulled that hose completely off. Then we came over here and we removed the upper radiator hose. Started pumping water into this hose here and was able to flush. I think that's what was happening anyway, that we were able to flush all of the crap out of the upper part of the block like that. Then later we removed the lower radiator hose and was able to flush that way, unless that's what squirted it out of there. I don't know, but we flushed water in there. I think it was coming back up out of, well, no, it wouldn't come out of here because of that either. We eventually removed this and took the thermostat out and flushed it that way too. And then I eventually removed the upper radiator hose right here, or not radiator hose, I'm sorry, the upper heater hose, and flushed the heater core out. And I don't remember which direction. I'm pretty sure I pushed it in the longer hose, which would be your cold side, I think. It's getting heated through the motor and goes inside. If that's wrong, I'm sorry. Somebody correct me. Video is probably way too long already, but I just wanted to add that in there in case if you are changing the radiator, please flush out the system. And one thing that's always confused me about flushing out anything like that too is water. We're going to use water. Water is what rusts in your system. So if there was a way to compress some distilled water, that would be the ideal way to flush the system, but you would be going through a lot of that distilled water. I don't mean just pumping it in there with the garden hose. And a lot of gunk comes out when you're doing that. It's pretty cool to think, oh, my engine has to run better now, but sometimes they
probably don't. So it's probably always better to hire a professional. Well, it all seems to be running all right for what it is. Yeah, we're back in business now. No more leaky radiator, and can figure out what we need to do next to this thing. So she's all back together. I suppose it ain't overheating. I'd know if there was a gauge, but I don't have a gauge. Didn't smell hot, officer. So what's next? On my priority list, getting them springs in here is kind of on my list, but probably ought to work on getting the title to this thing in my name. Getting some tags, stuff like that, the important stuff, even though I don't really care if I drive it or not. I just want to be able to play around here and maybe up and down the road. So that is probably going to be where my priorities lie. But yeah, those springs, we're going to have a video of putting them in there. I did throw a door panel on the passenger side. I still need to get my interior button for the driver's side door so you can get out without having to reach in the door panel. And we're still working on getting a battery rack. My guy has stopped. He has taken the measurements. Just waiting for him to get back with me on that. I'll go out and take a look at it. I've made some more measurements to be able to mount the solenoids on top of that or off of that bracket. And we're probably going to go ahead and weld some brackets off of that bracket to make it so it'll hold the pump. So it'll all be in one unit. I think that'd be pretty cool. Look a whole lot better than that crap that we got back there with Lumberjack Joe or whoever installed the hydraulics. Anyway, y'all take it easy. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all that stuff. All that stuff down there. Just do it. Why not? It won't hurt. Promise. Take it easy. Keep on trucking.